seated. Good morning. This is the time set for the 5 a.m. calendar on June 17th, 2025. The court's orders for the taking of DNA and fingerprints that were given on the first calendar of this month will apply to all matters on this calendar. I'll call you each one at a time to the podium, and I'll provide a second name to sit in the chair outside of this room. I will tell you what you are here for, whether or not I have appointed counsel, if you will have a bond, and your release conditions. If we can start with Mr. Samawalo to the podium, and Mr. Rabalar to the chair. Good morning, sir. Could I get your name and date of birth?
Good morning. Cadmus Samawala, March 21st, 2005.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a grand jury warrant. It is for an offense date of May 21st, 2025, and it's for 1 count of kidnapping, a Class 2 felony, 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, Class 3 felony, 1 count of armed robbery, a Class 3 felony, and 1 count of aggravated robbery, a Class 4 felony. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you and set an arraignment hearing on June 24th at 8:30 in the morning. And in this case, you have a secured appearance bond of $150,000. If you post that bond, you have written conditions of release to include not returning to the scene of the alleged crime, no contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness. All of this information will be in your paperwork, sir. Did you have any questions?
So I already have my lawyer, a private lawyer. My mother already paid for it.
Okay, so it doesn't look like they've entered appearance yet on this case. So I will still go ahead and appoint counsel. However, if you do have an attorney, they can file that entry of appearance, and then that will make my order appointing counsel void, okay?
All right.
Thank you so much, sir. If you'll step to your left, they'll give you that paperwork. Did you say you want me to move it up to where? Okay. Can I have Alano Rabalar to the podium and Pedro Alceda Vera to the chair? Good morning. Could I get your name and date of birth?
Alano Rabalar, 6106.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a grand jury warrant that was issued. It's for an offense date of May 30th, 2024. It does include 1 count of theft means of transportation, a Class 3 felony, 2 counts of aggravated assault on a first responder, a Class 5 felony, and 1 count of a minor carrying a firearm, a Class 6 felony. I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you. You're going to have an arraignment hearing June 24th at 8:30 in the morning, and you have a cash-only bond of $50,000. If you post that bond, you have written conditions of release. It does include not returning to the scene of the crime, no contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness, and you may not possess any weapons. All of that will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir. If you'll step to your left, they'll give you that paperwork. Mr. Alceda Vera to the podium and Mr. Edwards to the chair. Good morning, sir. Could I get your name and date of birth?
Pedro Alceda Vera, January 17, 1977.
Thank you, sir. And can I get the state's appearance?
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. Ashley Stetson on behalf of the state.
Thank you, ma'am. It does look like we have 2 cases on the calendar here this morning. The first one is a new Superior Court case. It does include 2 counts of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, a Class 4 felony, 2 counts of taking the identity of another, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of dangerous drug possession, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of false report to law enforcement, a Class 1 misdemeanor. And then your second case is a probation violation warrant that was issued with allegations of violating terms 6 and 7. Did the state want to put some information on the record as it relates to the new case?
Yes, Your Honor. The allegation for the new offense are that the suspect was allegedly involved in a collision, which law enforcement did respond. During law enforcement's investigation, the suspect allegedly gave law enforcement the name of Jose Ricardo Fuentes. Upon running that name and date of birth, it came back to a $1.5 million warrant out of Los Angeles for shooting at an unoccupied structure, as well as other names. Your Honor, through further investigation in biometrics, it was learned that the suspect is not, in fact, Jose Ricardo Fuentes. He is Pedro Alcedo Vera. He did have a warrant out of Maricopa County for his probation violation. He does also have a United States Marshal Service warrant for illegal entry. And just for clarification, Your Honor, it is not a detainer. It is an actual criminal warrant from the United States Marshals for illegal entry that was confirmed through a NCIS hit. The state does have a copy of that warrant. It does appear to be a no bond warrant, Your Honor. In addition to that, Your Honor, he, because law enforcement thought that he was Mr. Fuentes, DPS SWAT was called out due to the nature of the allegations. In fact, he is not Mr. Fuentes, but like the state says that he is had a Maricopa probation warrant out. Additionally, Your Honor, he did also use the name of Ricky Cloud, which is the second taking identification of another. The reason for the two prohibited possessor charges are one for the felony conviction that he has. He has the child abuse case that he's on probation for, but he also has a prior forgery conviction from 2012, the state believes. But also the second prohibited possessor conviction charge is for his immigration status, Your Honor. Additionally, when in the course of booking the suspect, a white powdery substance was located in the suspect's wallet. The suspect did indicate that was methamphetamine. And so for those reasons, Your Honor, the state does acknowledge that he has a no bond warrant with ICE, but the state is still requesting a $10,000 secured bond, given the fact that, Your Honor, the ICE warrant is from 2023. Additionally, the state was able to ascertained that he originally came into contact with ICE back in 2012. He did serve a federal sentence on that and was deported back to Mexico. He then returned back to the United States illegally. That is why there's a criminal warrant in place. The state does obviously have concerns about his flight risk as well as his ability to follow conditions of this court. The state would just ask that Your Honor order the conditions that were requested by the state in the written recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. So for purposes of the new case, I am going to find probable cause and I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. You're going to have some hearings in the downtown Superior Courthouse with a status conference on June 23rd at 8:30 in the morning and a preliminary hearing June 26th at 8:30. In this case, you have a secured appearance bond of $5,000. On your second case, which is the probation violation case, I'm going to appoint counsel and you'll have a probation revocation hearing June 24th at 8:30. And in that case, you also have a secured appearance bond of $5,000. So it is a total bond of $10,000. If you post bond, you have written conditions of release. It does include not possessing any weapons or alcohol and contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. As you likely heard, the state mentioned there is a warrant related to a U.S. Marshals with no bond. If that is the case, you would not be necessarily released. You may be transferred somewhere else to be heard on those, but if they don't make you available for the hearings that I gave you today, you would lose the bond that you post on these cases. So you may want to consider talking to your attorney before you make any decisions on how to move forward with these pending cases here, okay? Did you have any questions?
No.
All right, if you'll step to your left, the officers will give you that paperwork. Thank you, sir. Can I have Mr. Edwards to the podium and Mr. Zachariah to the chair? Good morning, sir. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Jesse Edwards, 9/18/1990.
Thank you, sir. It does look like we have 3 cases on the calendar here this morning. The first one is a direct complaint that was filed on February 3rd, 2025, and it's for an offense date of April 21st, 2024, for 1 count of unlawful flight from a law enforcement vehicle, a Class 5 felony. The second case is a direct complaint filed June 20th, 2019, and that's for an offense date of February 15th, 2019, for 1 count of theft, control of property, a Class 6 felony. Those are both in the Maricopa County Superior Court. I'm going to appoint counsel in both of those cases and set a status conference June 23rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing June 26th at 8:30 in the downtown Superior Courthouse on Madison Street. In the theft means of transportation case, you have a secured appearance bond of $10,000. In the second case for theft, you have a bond of $1,200. But you have a third case on the calendar, and that looks like it is from Pinal County Superior Court. And that is for a failure to appear. I will appoint counsel in that case as well. And you'll have an arraignment hearing in Pinal County on June 20th at 8:30. And in that case, you have a secured appearance bond of $1,500. So you have a total bond between the 3 cases of $12,700. If you post bond, you'll have written conditions of release to include not possessing any drugs without a valid prescription and not driving a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. You'll also need to ensure you attend all these hearings. As I mentioned, some are in Maricopa County, some are in Pinal County. If you fail to appear at any of those hearings, a warrant will issue and you'll forfeit any bond that you posted. Did you have any questions?
No.
Okay, if you'll step to your left, sir, they'll give you that paperwork. Thank you.
And Your Honor, I do believe that's all that the state was planning on appearing for, unless Your Honor wants me to stick around.
That's everything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Zachariah to the podium and Joshua Pope to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Kill Zachariah, 03/25/1991.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a grand jury warrant that was issued for you. It has an offense date of July 19th, 2024, for 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, a Class 3 felony. I am going to appoint counsel, and you're going to have an arraignment hearing on June 24th at 8:30 in the morning in the downtown Superior Courthouse. You have a secured appearance bond of $5,000. If you post bond, you have written conditions of release. It does include no contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness, and you may not possess any weapons. All of this information will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. If you'll step to your left, they'll give you that paperwork. Joshua to the podium and Christopher Riley to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Joshua Poppy, 11/12/1990.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you have 2 cases on the calendar, and it looks like they're both failure to appear warrants that were issued for you. I'm going to affirm the attorney that you previously had appointed, and you're going to have a probation revocation hearing June 24th at 8:30. That applies to both of your cases. You have a secured appearance bond of $1,500 in each case for a total of $3,000. If you post bond, you have written conditions of release. It does include not possessing any weapons or alcohol, contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. You'll also need to ensure you attend that hearing. Otherwise, an additional failure to appear warrant will issue and you'll forfeit any bond you posted. Did you have any questions?
Yeah, Your Honor, I was actually there. It was on the 10th at 8:30 in the morning. Me, my service dog, my mom, my dad, and their service dog, we were actually present at that court hearing. The court hearing was set for a continuance for the 22nd of July at 8:30 in the morning. Like, I was at that appearance. I was there. It was in Phoenix. It was courtroom 2C.
So the information that is in the file indicates that you did not appear at the hearing, and they have now set a hearing on August 12th for a forfeiture of the previous bond that you posted. I don't show anything indicating this July hearing that you mentioned, just the forfeiture?
We went to that one, not to the probation.
So it's a third case? Okay. Let's take a look. So it sounds like you have a third case that's not on the calendar for a failure to appear, but let's take, is that the CR 154897? Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I do see that one, and that's not the case you're here on. You have two additional cases, and those are the ones you got the failure to appear warrant on. But I do see that you did appear for a hearing on June 9th, and that was reset to July 22nd at 8:30. But you failed to appear on the probation revocation hearings for your other two cases that you have pending. And so again, you posted bonds on those, and so you do have a forfeiture hearing coming up as well. It's after the hearing that I'm setting today on June 24th, so you can talk to your attorney about that. But if you fail to appear at this hearing on June 24th, you'll risk forfeiting any bonds you post on these cases as well.
Yeah, see, I was told by my attorney, James, that both matters were set to be heard at the same time, and that because it was supposed to be court on the 9th and then court on the 10th. And he told me not to worry about coming on the 10th because both matters were reset for July 22nd, 8:30 in the morning, and that both matters were going to be heard at the same time.
So it looks like the attorney that appeared on your behalf on these two probation warrants were an Erica Daniels. So I can't speak to what James may have told you. Talk to your attorney at the hearing on June 24th because the judge did issue a warrant for failing to appear at those hearings.
Okay.
If you'll step to your left, the officers will give you that paperwork. Okay, sir? Thank you. Mr. Riley to the podium and Mr. Garcia to the chair.
Hello, Your Honor.
Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Christopher Michael Riley, June 17, 1976.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a failure to appear bench warrant that was issued for you. I am going to affirm the attorney that was previously appointed to represent you.
Yes, ma'am.
You will have a status conference June 23rd at 8:30 in the downtown Superior Courthouse on Madison Street. You have a secured appearance bond of $2,500. If you post that bond, you have written conditions of release. They're the same as previously issued. It does include not returning to the scene of any alleged crime, no contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness. You must obey the terms of any order of protection or order against harassment that is issued or will be issued in the future, and you are not to be within 1 mile of the victim's residence or the location of this offense. All of that will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
Yeah, I was on pretrial services before. I had a from July 2024, they pulled it up while I was on pretrial services out of Pinal. I got arrested on the 28th. I was going to make it to court on the 29th. I was on pretrial services. That's the only reason they arrested me on the 28th of last month, or the month before. But I was on pretrial services. Everything was fine. And then they arrested me out of Pinal. That's where I was at for disorderly conduct. They pulled it up. It was 2 weeks prior, and I had no idea. Even my probation officer, she didn't even know that there was even out of Pinal either. So I was hoping for maybe pretrial services again if I can, because there's nothing in Pinal or anything like that anymore. Like everything is clean and clear. I have no outstanding anything. I would like to do pretrial services again if I can, because it was fine before. There's nothing outstanding in any direction in any area. And time is served. I spent 50 days in Florence.
When were you released from Florence?
Yesterday morning.
And
yesterday afternoon, yeah.
And were you ever actually released, or did they just transport you here?
No, I was released. I had court yesterday on the 16th, and then they took me from court to here. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is you haven't been physically outside of custody, even though Pinal.
Oh, no. Everything is washed. Everything's clean and clear, yeah. Out of Pinal County, yeah.
But once Pinal County released you, you weren't let go on your own free will. They took you into custody and brought you here?
Yes.
So you haven't been outside of custody since the end of April?
April 28th, and I had court on the 29th. They arrested me in Peoria out of family.
Did you have a warrant out of Pinal County? Is that what happened?
Yeah, and I had no idea. They pulled it. while I was on pretrial services, like 2 weeks prior, and my probation officer, she didn't say anything. She didn't know either. It was out of Pinellas, but I did 50 days for disorderly conduct charge out of Pinellas. And it was a day right before I needed to come to court here, yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to look at this. One moment. Have you talked to your attorney from Maricopa County and informed them?
My brother has, yeah, he's followed up with her, Karen Black. Yeah. My brother has. I haven't been able to contact her because I've been in Florence jail since the 28th. I did like 50 days, and I just got released yesterday on the 16th.
Okay, so your hearing is still going to remain on June 23rd at 8:30, so that's in about 5 days.
Okay.
I am going to release you to pretrial services. So you'll get a packet of information today. You need to contact pretrial services once you've been released. Make sure you attend that hearing on June 23rd, otherwise a warrant will issue for your arrest.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
if you'll take a seat up there, they'll bring you that paper.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Garcia to the podium and Mr. Duarte to the chair.
Eduardo Garcia, December 6, 1990.
Thank you, sir. It does look like we are here on a new municipal court case. It does include 1 count of assault, a Class 1 misdemeanor. Probable cause has been found, and I'm appointing an attorney to represent you. You're going to have an arraignment hearing on June 25th at 1 p.m., and that will be in the Buckeye Municipal Court. You have a secured appearance bond of $2,500. If you post that bond, you have written conditions of release. It does include not returning to the scene of the alleged crime, no contact with any alleged victims, complainant, or witness. You also must obey the terms of any order of protection or order against harassment that may be issued against you. All of this information will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
Yeah, so the scene is where I live with my 2 kids full time. She moved down in December or in November. I told her she had to leave, and then when I left to work for about like 2 weeks, she moved herself back in. And since then, I've been telling her she had to leave, she has to leave, she has to leave. So I really don't understand. I mean, we used to live on 63rd Avenue and Lower Buckeye, and I moved from that house to my parents' house to get away from all this, and she just followed it. Now it's trying to get her out of there. But I moved there because I have both my kids full time.
Are they children in common?
Sorry?
Are they in common with this alleged victim? The 2
No. It's a different mom. She had moved into her sister's house, and then when I left for work for 2 weeks in Yuma, she moved herself in.
Okay. Unfortunately, if she is living there right now at this time, you are not going to be able to return there because the alleged victim is residing there. If you need to take any necessary steps to do whatever you need to do to move back in, you can do that. Talk to your attorney at the hearing on June 25th to discuss your options. But as long as the alleged victim is living there, you're not able to return there.
Okay.
Okay? Anything further?
No.
Okay, so step to your left, sir. They'll give you that paperwork.
All right,
Thank you. Mr. Duarte to the podium and Mr. Aguilar to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Albert Galaviz, December 6, 83,
Can you repeat your date of birth?
12/6/83.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a new Superior Court case. It does include one count of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, a Class 4 felony, one count of tampering with physical evidence, Class 6 felony, and one count of theft, a Class 6 felony. Probable cause has been found, and I'm appointing an attorney to represent you. You're going to have a status conference June 23rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing June 26th at 8:30, both in the downtown Superior Courthouse. You have a secured appearance bond of $2,500. If you post bond, you have written conditions of release to include not possessing any weapons. You may not possess any drugs without a valid prescription or drive a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. All of that will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
No.
Okay, if you step to your left, they'll give you that paperwork. Thank you, sir. Mr. Aguilar to the podium and Mr. Harden to the chair. Good morning. Could I get your name and date of birth?
Good morning. Full name is Juan Carlos Aguilar. Date of birth is 04/11/1982.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a new Superior Court case. It does include one count of burglary in the 3rd degree, a Class 4 felony. Probable cause has been found, and I'm appointing an attorney to represent you. You will have a status conference June 23rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing June 26th at 8:30, both in the downtown Superior Courthouse. You have a secured appearance bond of $2,500. If bond is posted, you have written conditions of release. It does include not returning to the scene of the alleged crime, no contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness. All of that will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
Am I getting released today?
You'll have to post a bond of $2,500 before you're released from custody. Anything further, sir?
I don't have any money. But what I was telling the police officer, I found it in the alley. And I said, I didn't steal it. I said, I don't mind just showing you guys that, hey, where I found it. And I said, I've had this bike since January. I said, they said that I stole it on June 6th. And I told them I take it out once a day because I don't know what it's called, but you know where you put your feet on, the pedals?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it stops. Like for some reason, like it just whoosh. And then where you put you got the 2 tires, right? And then you got that little stick that just holds the bike steady. I haven't had a bike for a long time, so it's a jump start. You're supposed to have you ever driven a dirt bike? I'm asking because I haven't. But I mean, I see them sometimes, and 2 wheels scare the shit out of me. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Motorcycles, I wouldn't drive because the people always say, hey, sometimes they fly like Superman. So bikes, you think bikes just, hey, they're safe. You know what I mean? They're not cars. I don't have a car, so bikes, you think, hey, a bike is safe. No, just want to just.
So you're going to have an attorney to discuss this with.
So the thing that sucks.
Hold on 1 second, but just so you're aware, according to the form, there does indicate that there is some video relating to what has been going on. So I would recommend that you talk to your attorney about any.
Well, no, I'm not trying to discuss any of that, Your Honor. What I'm trying to say is, Your Honor, all this bad stuff has been happening, and then the guy. He had hair like it's just, it was funny because I told the police officer, that guy's black. I'm brown. I know, miss. And then I'm saying, hey.
Sir, I'm not sure that is relevant for today's hearing, so I'm going to go ahead and have you take a step to your left and grab the paperwork from the officer, okay? Go ahead and relay any information as it relates to your defense to your attorney, okay?
How can I drop the bond because I don't have any money?
So the bond is going to remain if you don't post it when you speak to your attorney on June 23rd. If they feel like it's appropriate, they can make a motion to the court at that time.
Well, see,
okay?
if I got to wait all the way till then, And that just shows that I'm guilty, but I'm not guilty.
That's not what it shows, but we're going to go ahead and end this hearing. If you could step to your left, you can talk to your attorney at the next hearing, okay? Thank you, sir. Mr. Harden to the podium and Mr. Alexander to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
James Harden, January 11th, 1984.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on 2 probation violation warrants with allegations you violated terms 3, 4, and 5 of your probation. I'll appoint an attorney and set a probation revocation hearing June 24th at 8:30. That applies to both cases. You have a secured appearance bond of $500 in one case and $250 in the other for a total of $750. If you post bond, you have written conditions of release. It does include contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. Did you have any questions, sir? Okay, if you step to your left, I'll give you that paperwork. Mr. Alexander to the podium and Jesse Nagy to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Hamilton Alexander, 11271.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a probation violation warrant with allegations you violated terms 3, 4, 5, 7, and 15. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you, and you're going to have a probation revocation hearing June 24th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $250. If you post bond, you have written conditions of release. It does include not possessing any weapons or alcohol and contacting your probation officer within 24 hours. All of that will be in your paperwork, sir. Did you have any questions?
No.
Thank you. If you'll step to your left, they'll give you that paperwork. Mr. Nagy to the podium and Mr. Marriott to the chair. Good morning, sir.
I'm not guilty.
Okay, can we start with your name and date of birth?
Just C. Nagy, August 15th, 1988. Why am I here again?
We're going to go over that.
For trespassing or for something else?
We're going to go over that. Can you give me your date of birth?
August 15th, 1988.
Thank you, sir. So it looks like you're here on a probation violation warrant that was issued for you.
And what was the original cause of that?
It was for theft.
Oh, my understanding is that got paid off already.
Hold on a second. We're going to go over some things, and then if you have questions after I'm done, then you can get an opportunity to speak.
Or that I was released already.
So it looks like your probation was reinstated on January 9th, 2025 for 30 months. It does not have an ending date until September 23rd, 2026. They have indicated that you violated terms 3 and 5 of your probation. I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you and set a probation revocation hearing June 24th at 8:30 in the downtown Superior Courthouse.
Can I explain what happened?
Hold on one second. In this case, you do have a secured appearance bond of $250. If you post that bond, you have written conditions of release. It does include not possessing any weapons or alcohol and contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. For purposes of any defense that you have as it relates to this probation violation, save that information and present that to your attorney. You're going to meet with your attorney at the hearing on June 24th. Do you have any questions regarding your release conditions?
No, I don't.
Okay,
So
sir.
I get released today?
If you post a bond of $250, once that's posted, you'll be released from custody. Ensure that you go to that hearing on June 24th. Otherwise, you'll forfeit any bonds that you posted.
No, I don't have any money.
If you don't post bond, then you'll remain in custody until your hearing on June 24th.
Okay.
Okay, just up to your left.
I can't say my piece?
Well, I don't want you saying anything since you don't have your attorney here. Any information you put on the record is being recorded, and they could use that. So I would recommend that you wait until you can give that information to your attorney and they can present it. June 24th, so about a week.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Marriott to the podium and Ashley Flesh to the chair. Good morning, sir. Could I get your name and date of birth?
Daniel Joseph Marriott, 6/14/1992.
Thank you, sir. Are you currently here on anything else? Are you in custody on anything else? Okay. So it looks like you have a grand jury warrant that was issued for you. It's for an offense date of June 8th, 2025 for one count of unlawful flight from a law enforcement vehicle, a Class 5 felony. I'll appoint an attorney and you'll have an arraignment hearing June 24th at 8:30. In this case, you have a cash bond of $50. So this would be in addition to any other bond if you have any based on your other cases. If you do post that bond, you have written conditions of release that will include not possessing any weapons or alcohol and contacting your probation officer within 24 hours. Did you have any questions?
Yes. Does it show anything out of Pinal County?
I see a note that you're currently on probation, but I don't have access to their records, so it's unclear to me if there's any sort of
So if I
warrant.
posted both bonds, because I got a $750 bond and the $50 bond that you just put on me, if I post both of those, would I be released?
Let's see. That's if Pinal doesn't have any warrant. Again, my notes don't indicate that. It just simply says you're on probation. So if you don't, in fact, have a warrant from there, then yes, if you post those bonds, you'd be released. The officers may have more information as to whether or not there's any other courts that have any warrants out for you, but I don't see any at this point.
Okay.
Okay?
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Ashley to the podium and Julia Mays to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Ashley Fluchet, 5/19/1990.
Thank you, ma'am. It does look like you are here on a new Superior Court case. It does include one count of hindering prosecution, a Class 5 felony. Probable cause has been found, and I'm appointing an attorney to represent you. You'll have a status conference July 2nd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing July 7th at 8:30. Those are both in the downtown Superior Courthouse on Madison Street. I am releasing you today on your own recognizance. That is your promise to appear at those hearings. You have written conditions of release. It does include not possessing any drugs without a valid prescription and not driving a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. You'll need to ensure you attend those hearings. If you fail to appear, a warrant will issue and you'll likely be held on bond at the next hearing. Did you have any questions, ma'am?
No.
Okay, thank you so much. If you'll step to your left, they'll give you that paperwork.
Thank you.
Miss Julia Mays to the podium and Fabian Moncado to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Julia Mays, 03/19/1995.
Thank you, ma'am. It does look like you are here on a warrant. It looks like it relates to a failure to pay some fees or comply with some court orders related to a DUI from 2016. Due to the nature of your charges, you're not entitled to court-appointed counsel. You will have an arraignment hearing in the Highland Justice Court on July 3rd at 9 a.m. I am releasing you today on your own recognizance. That is your promise to appear. You have written conditions of release to include not possessing any drugs without a valid prescription, and you may not drive a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. You need to ensure you attend that hearing, otherwise a failure to appear warrant will issue and you may be held on bond at the next hearing. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. If you'll step to your left, they'll give you that paperwork. Fabian to the podium and Mona Robertson to the chair.
Good morning, morning.
Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Fabian Moncada, 10805.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a new Superior Court case. It is for one count of unlawful means of transportation as a passenger, a Class 6 felony. Probable cause has been found, and I'm appointing an attorney to represent you. You're going to have a status conference July 2nd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing July 7th at 8:30, both in the downtown Superior Courthouse. I am releasing you today on your own recognizance. That is your promise to appear at that hearing. You have written conditions of release. It does include not possessing any drugs without a valid prescription and not driving a vehicle without a valid driver's license. All of that will be in your paperwork. You need to ensure you attend those hearings. If you fail to appear, a warrant will issue and you'll be held on bond at the next hearing. Did you have any questions?
What's today's date?
Today is June 17th and your hearing's July 2nd, so it's a couple weeks away.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank you, sir. If you'll step to your left, they'll give you that paperwork. Ms. Robertson to the podium and Mr. Wilson to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Mona Lisa Robertson, 06/17/2006.
Thank you, ma'am. It does look like you are here on a new municipal court case. It does include one count of shoplifting, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and one count of shoplifting and concealing the goods, a Class 1 misdemeanor. Probable cause has been found. However, due to the nature of your charges, you're not entitled to court-appointed counsel. You can hire an attorney at your own expense if you would like to. You're going to have an arraignment hearing on July 2nd at 1 p.m. in the Goodyear Municipal Court. I'm releasing you today on your own recognizance. That is your promise to appear at that hearing. You have written conditions of release that will include not returning to the scene of the alleged crime, no contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness. You need to ensure you attend that hearing on July 2nd. If you fail to appear, a warrant will issue and you'll likely be held on bond at a future hearing. Did you have any questions, ma'am?
No, thank you.
Okay, just step to your left, they'll give you that paperwork. Mr. Wilson to the podium. Good morning, sir. Could I get your name and date of birth?
Good morning. Adrian Wilson, 0408-2001.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Does look like you are here on a warrant coming out of the state of Tennessee. It looks like they have indicated that they would like to extradite you back to the state of Tennessee for a pending charge related to an assault. It looks like this warrant issued for your arrest on April 25th, 2025. Did you get an opportunity to review that laminated card that was given to you?
No, ma'am. You said April 25th, 2025?
That's when the warrant issued, so about 2 months ago.
No, ma'am. I did not get any of that.
No, so I'm asking, did you get an opportunity to review that card in front of you?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. So you have two options here today. Okay. And so we're going to discuss your options. Your first option is you can say, I'm ready for Tennessee to come pick me up. I'm willing to allow them to extradite me back to handle these pending charges. If you were to choose to do that, you would be held here in the Maricopa County Jail, non-bondable, and it would be for up to 30 days. That 30 days would start tomorrow, so long as you don't have any other pending charges here in the state of Arizona. And you would be giving Tennessee 30 days to come pick you up. And then you would handle anything related to the charges in Tennessee. Or in the alternative, you have the right to demand that the governor of both Arizona and Tennessee sign an order requiring you to be extradited back to Tennessee before that takes place. If you choose to do that, I would set a hearing here in Maricopa County on June 30th at 1:30 p.m. That hearing would be civil in nature, so you would not be entitled to court-appointed counsel, but you could hire an attorney for that hearing. And you would have right to a bond. You'd have a secured appearance bond of $50,000. If you posted that bond, you'd be released from custody while these hearings are pending. However, if you fail to appear at that hearing on June 30th, you would have a warrant here in Maricopa County. You'd still have your warrant in Tennessee, and you'd forfeit any bond you posted. So you would need to make sure that you attend these hearings, otherwise you'd now have two pending cases. Do you know what option you would like to do here today?
To be real, I'm only being real right now. I think the second option would probably be the best, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure, because I don't got a lawyer or anything to talk to. I feel like I had considered into the warrant that Tennessee gave me, and I ain't say come back to the court. They just said, concede, you cannot be around her 500 meters and all that. That's why I came out here in AZ. I didn't know I was on the run. Now that I know all that, it's just like I don't know. I don't know how to explain, but I probably...
And so if you're not ready to make that decision, I completely understand. We could set that hearing on June 30th at 1:30, and then at that hearing, if you changed your mind and say, you know what, I do want to move forward with, go ahead and allow Tennessee to pick me up, they'll give you that option again on June 30th. So it would give you an opportunity if you want to talk to an attorney before you make that decision. We can do that, set a bond here today and set that hearing. Otherwise, if you choose to waive your rights, you would have no bond, you'd have no future hearings here, and you would be waiting in jail for Tennessee to pick you up. Those are the two choices you have.
I set the hearing.
You want to set the hearing?
Yes,
okay. So we'll go ahead and do that. You're going to have a hearing on June 30th at 1:30 in the downtown Superior Courthouse on 201 West Jefferson. You have a secured appearance bond of $50,000. If you post bond, you'll have written conditions of release. It does include not possessing any drugs without a valid prescription and not driving a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. And then again, just make sure you attend that hearing. If you don't, a warrant will issue here, Tennessee warrant will be valid, and you'd lose any bonds you posted, okay?
Yes,
any questions?
Nah.
Okay, if you'll take a seat out there, we'll get that paperwork printed for you. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Case number 14, Tyler Fan, date of birth January 2nd, 1997, will proceed as a house call due to him being an escape risk. He is here on a justice court warrant for 1 count of criminal trespass in the 3rd degree. I am going to appoint an attorney and set an arraignment hearing on June 20th at 8:30 in the Agua Fria Justice Court. and I'm setting a secured appearance bond of $50. If bond is posted, he'll have written conditions of release he needs to comply with, and he'll need to ensure he attends that hearing. If anything changes, I will update the written record. Case number 26, Michael Arvayo, date of birth April 17th, 1981, will proceed as a house call due to being unable to function. He is here on a municipal court warrant for 1 count of shoplifting, removal of goods, a class 1 misdemeanor. Probable cause has been found, and I am appointing an attorney to represent him. He will have an arraignment hearing June 23rd at 8:30 in the Tolleson Municipal Court. I am affirming the secured appearance bond of $500. If bond is posted, he'll have written conditions of release he'll need to comply with. If anything changes after I meet with him, I will update the written record. Case number 19 and 20, Desiree Horton, date of birth June 29th, 1994, will proceed as a house call due to her being a danger to others. The first case is a failure to appear bench warrant that was issued on May 15th, 2025. And the second one is also a failure to appear warrant issued May 15th, 2025. I will affirm the attorney previously appointed to represent her. Conference June 24th at 8:30. That will apply to both cases. She has a secured appearance bond of $1,700 in each case for a total of $3,400. If that bond is posted, she will have written conditions of release she needs to comply with. It does include not returning to the scene of any alleged crime. She'll need to ensure she attends that hearing. Otherwise, she'll forfeit any bond she posts, and an additional failure to appear warrant will issue. That concludes our 5 a.m. calendar, and we will now stand in recess until 8 a.m.
All right.
Gotta get this one down. All right, thank you. Please be seated. If you want to try to get that chair lower, that might take a second. I'm going to have to get on and hop. Well, don't roll down the hill. Come over here. That would be dangerous.
There's another chair over here.
Is there, if we can't make that one work?
You can sit and talk. Oh,
no, it's just annoying. Government.
I can talk about this.
Definitely undignified. Yeah, maybe we have to swap it out. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Do we have any interpreter cases? Okay, good.
Just 2 households.
Okay, thank you. Good. All right, let me get settled here.
Good.
All right, this is the 11 a.m. initial appearance calendar for June 17th, 2025. The court's orders for the taking of DNA and fingerprint samples made on the first calendar of the month will also apply to these hearings. We're going to start with Mr. Garcia. Joseph Garcia, if you please come all the way to the podium, you're going to be first. Hello, sir. Can I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
Joseph Manny Garcia, 0406-1983.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Garcia, you are here on two things, a new case and a warrant in an older case. I'm going to start with your new case. You have been booked in on new charges of possessing narcotic drugs. That's a Class 4 felony, drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony, and criminal trespass as a Class 2 misdemeanor. I am appointing a lawyer for you in this case. It'll be the same person that you have for your other case in which there was a warrant issued for your arrest. In that case, which is number 23 on our calendar, you've already been charged with narcotic drug possession, a Class 4 felony, and drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. This warrant issued on December 27th of 2023 after you failed to appear at a status conference. So you will have the same lawyer for both cases, and I believe I can give you the same next court date for both. That's going to be June 23rd for a status conference, which is this coming Monday, June 23rd at 8:30 in the morning. You'll have a preliminary hearing in both cases, June 26th at 8:30. Those will be in the downtown Superior Court. Now, in the new case only, the one from yesterday, you're going to have a third hearing. It's called a bail eligibility hearing. It's going to be June 24th at 1:30 in the afternoon. The reason you need a bail eligibility hearing in the new case because you are not eligible for bail today. You will be held without bond because there's probable cause of a new felony while you have any pending felony case. So I cannot give you bond today. You may be found eligible for bond in a week, which is the 24th of June, but you're not eligible today in the new case. In the older case, I'm just affirming the bond that issued when you missed that court hearing. That is $500 with conditions. Don't try to post that bond, though, if you're still being held without bond in the new case. You step to your left, the officer's going to have your paperwork for you in both matters. Good luck, sir. Sure, you can step to your left, Mr. Garcia. Mr. Guerrero Navarrete, will you please come to the podium? Mr. Guerrero. I don't.
Jesus Guerrero Navarrete,
Right,
February 5th, 2001.
February 5th?
February 5th, 2001.
Oh, okay, we've got your date, or sorry, your birthday slightly wrong. Okay, February 5, 2001. All right, sir, you are here on a new case. Just one second. All right, sir, you have been accused, and just one second. We're going to need you to reprint this one, Katrina. Okay. All right, you've been booked in for aggravated assault involving serious physical injury. That is a Class 2 felony. 3 allegations of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person. Those are Class 4 felonies. 2 allegations of endangerment, Class 6 felonies. 1 allegation of disorderly conduct with a weapon, and that is a Class 6 felony as well. Hold on. All right, there is probable cause for all of those, and I am appointing a lawyer to represent you in this case. You've got 2 upcoming court dates. The first one is going to be Monday, June 23rd at 8:30 in the morning, and followed by a preliminary hearing June 26th at 8:30 in the morning. Those are going to be on your paperwork along with the court address. Based on what's been presented against you and your criminal history, the court finds that the state's recommendation is appropriate and setting bail in your case in the amount of $100,000. It is cash only, and if you post it, you'll be on an electronic ankle monitor under the supervision of pretrial services. You may not go to nor reside at the scene of the alleged crime. And it just occurred to me, I think they alleged that you've been residing there. And the court finds that at least some of these alleged victims reside there. You may not have contact with any of them, even if some of them are your own children, and that is for their own safety. One second. You must find an alternative residence within 24 hours. And provide proof to pretrial services within 24 hours of physical release from jail. And a civil standby is permitted to collect belongings. All right, no weapons, no drugs without a valid prescription, no alcohol. Again, absolutely no victim contact. The endangerment counts are the 2 children who were allegedly in the car. That's who are victims on the endangerment counts. Everything's going to be on your paperwork. Did you get we need to reprint it? Okay, we're doing that right now. Yeah, I don't know. I think we reprinted too early. Sorry, I needed to give him a civil standby and order him to move because you can't live there while the case is pending. You can't go there except on a civil standby. All right, we're going to get that reprinted. Why don't you go ahead and wait by the door? We've got to swap it for you. Okay, thank you. And you'll get. All right, where's Nathan Dunson, please? Nathan Dunson. After that, Xavier Norris. Will you go to the chair? All right, Mr. Dunson, can I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
Nathan Dunson, 10/23/1992.
All right, Mr. Dunson, you're here on 3 matters. One's a new case, and 2 are warrants from other counties. I'm going to start with your new case, number 12 on the calendar. In this case, you've been accused of shoplifting, which the court finds probable cause for as a Class 4 felony. That's with predicate priors. So that's a Class 4 felony. And they also accused you of resisting arrest, a Class 6 felony. For purposes of this hearing only, the court did not find probable cause on the felony resisting. I would have found probable cause on misdemeanor resisting, but they didn't book you for that. So I do find probable cause again for the shoplifting as a Class 4 felony. You can talk to your lawyer more about how all this works. The resisting charge is not dismissed. I'm just not setting release conditions for it. But I am appointing a lawyer for you here in Maricopa County for this case. Your next court date will be a status conference, June 23rd, 8:30 in the morning in the downtown Superior Court. Preliminary hearing, June 26th at 8:30 in the same court. Now, you're also here on a warrant from Yavapai County Superior Court. You're on probation there. I believe you're also on probation in Pima County, but as of right now, you don't appear to have a hold that has come through from them. If and when they do put out a warrant for you out of Pima, you'll be brought back here to see a judge on that. But we do have a warrant for you for your probation out of Yavapai. This was actually issued June 10 of 2025 because there's been a petition to revoke filed there. So I'm going to let them know they should give you a lawyer when you get there. And right now we are setting that court date for 3 days from now, June 20th at 8:30 in the morning in the Yavapai County Superior Court. That's an arraignment hearing. That address is going to be on your paperwork. And in that case, I am affirming the $25,000 bond that they ordered with release conditions that I'll let you read. The Pima Consolidated Justice Court, so that's down in Tucson, but it's Justice Court. They also had a warrant out for your arrest. You've been charged there with failing to stop for police. That's a Class 2 misdemeanor. And failing to appear in a misdemeanor case, which is itself a Class 2 misdemeanor. Your arraignment hearing there is also scheduled for June 20th at 8:30 in the morning in the Pima Consolidated Justice Court. I'll let them know they should give you a lawyer on the bond issue only if you can't post bond. I'm going to affirm their bond as well. It's $500 secured with release conditions. In the new Maricopa case, I'm just going to give you what's called a placeholder bond. It's $50 secured. Don't post it unless you can get out on everything. Even if you post it, those 2 counties are just going to be notified to come and get you, and then Maricopa will put a hold on you and drag you back here once you're done there. Pardon me. And if you did bond out on everything, so your total bond is $25,550, you need to get on the phone to the Pima Justice Court and get your court date moved. Because right now I've given you that same court date for both counties. Obviously you can't be in 2 places at once. If you do post bond, it's up to you to get a court date moved, get that justice court date moved. If you don't post bond, then those counties are basically in line to come and get you when you're done in Maricopa. I don't know if you've been through this before, but as long as you don't post the $50 in the Maricopa case, It's not your problem. Those sheriffs will come and get you once you're done in Maricopa. Okay. Talk to your lawyer about any questions that you may have on that. He has your paperwork for everything. Thank you. All right, Mr. Norris. After that, Mr. Vargas, we go to the chair. Hello, sir. Can I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
Xavier Evil Norris.
Which date of birth, sir?
3783.
Okay, thanks. You're here on a new case. You're arrested for disorderly conduct with a weapon, a Class 6 felony, and first-degree criminal trespass, a Class 6 felony. There is probable cause for those, and I am appointing a lawyer to represent you. Your next court date is a status conference this Monday, June 23rd at 8:30 in the morning, with a preliminary hearing June 26th at 8:30. Those will be in the downtown Superior Court. The address will be on your paperwork. Based on what's been alleged against you and your criminal history, bail is set in your case at the amount of $25,000. That is secured. That means you can use a bail bond company. If you post the bail, you will be on an ankle monitor under the supervision of pretrial services. You may not go to the scene of the alleged crimes. You may not have any contact with the alleged victims. You may not possess any weapons, no drugs without a valid prescription, no alcohol, obey any order of protection that's been served on you. Everything is on your paperwork. If you step to your left, he'll give you a copy. Thank you. Mr. Vargas. And after that, we're going to do Mr. Gage's case, and I think that's who we have counsel for. So Mr. Vargas to the podium. Mr. Gage's case will be next.
Vargas.
Got my camera. Be on camera. I like to make sure the clerk's not in it, and preferably the flags are. Just go on there. I also don't like it here because then you're looking. All right, sir. Can I have your full name and your date of birth?
Eduardo Vargas, July 15, 1992.
All right, thank you. You are here on a new case. You were arrested for possession of a weapon by a prohibited person and narcotic drug possession. Those are both Class 4 felonies. Carrying a weapon during the commission of any felony, a Class 6 felony, and failure to admit the carrying of a deadly weapon in a vehicle when asked by a police officer, which is a Class 1 misdemeanor. There is probable cause for all of those, and I am appointing a lawyer for you. You have 2 upcoming court dates. The first is a status conference, June 23rd at 8:30 in the morning. That's this Monday, with a preliminary hearing June 26th at 8:30 in the same court. That's going to be on your paperwork. And based on what's been alleged against you, hang on, I just looked at the county attorney's recommendation. They allege that you're on release in another open case. I need to press pause because I did not know of that allegation. I'm going to try to, okay. All right, so Mr. Vargas, it does look like you are on release in another case. Let me just trail it down. And so it looks like in 2025, 110957, your very first release in that case was March 8th of this year. Okay, it looks like you got a bond in that case. And that you posted some amount of bond in that case. Okay. All right, so based on this, there is probable cause for these new felonies, and you have a pending felony case. So you are not eligible for bail in this case today. I must hold you for a bail hearing. We're currently setting bail hearings for the 24th. 1 week out at 1:30 in the afternoon. So, I just hit. All right, so I'm not able to give you bail today, sir. You may or may not be found eligible for bail in a week. But when there's probable cause for any new felonies, and that includes not only the weapon in this case, but the fentanyl pills, I am obligated to hold you without bond, and you are entitled to a bail hearing. So we're going to get that bail hearing onto your paperwork. It'll say evidentiary hearing because it is an evidentiary hearing, but the purpose of it is bail. You'll see your lawyer the day before, and your lawyer can explain to you what's going to happen the next day at the bail hearing. And if you step to your left, we'll get that out to you as soon as it's printed, okay? All right, go ahead. Oh, PDS? Okay, thanks. So we're going to edit, and we're going to go Office of Public Defense Services. Okay, that's ready to go. And what, 1 second, sir, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, apologies. You are Mr. Gage, and then let's get Aiden Chalmers to the chair. And I'm going to get my camera on. Ms. Peters, are you here? You're here for Mr. Peters, right? Okay, give me 1 second to get my camera on for you. Okay, all right, hello. All right, Mr. Gage, your lawyer is attending virtually. I'll be able to see and hear her. You'll be able to hear her. All right, so Mr. Gage, let's start with your name and date of birth, please.
My name is Matthew Gage. I was born July 13th of 1993.
Okay, thank you. And let me have the appearance of counsel, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Shannon Peters on behalf of the defendant, Matthew Gage. He is present in custody.
All right, thank you. Mr. Gage, you are here on a warrant from the Verde Valley Justice Court. And counsel, this was a page 2. It says it is an arrest warrant for failure to appear. It issued October, it looks like 21st of 2021. And in this case, Mr. Gage, you've been charged with disorderly conduct, a Class 1 misdemeanor, criminal damage, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and failure to appear as a Class 2 misdemeanor. That court set a $1,500 secured bond in that case. So the next court date may change depending on what I do on my release conditions. So counsel, what did you want to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Judge, on behalf of my client, he currently resides in the state of Colorado, and because this was a page 2, there was a lack of notice, and he came back to Arizona to be able to remand for a scheduled jail sentence that he had. So he had been appearing for court on that other case without any sort of notice.
Hold on. In this case, he came back here to remand? No.
On a different case.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
And so for the entirety of that other case, there was no notification or issues or any revelation that there was a warrant. So when he basically was showing up to court on this other case, doing everything that he needs to do, and then showed up for his surrender, that's when they identified the warrant. His father has now traveled to Arizona and is ready to post the bond. But the main factor that we need to address is he needs to be able to return to the state of Colorado where he now resides. So he has an address there. He has a job that he needs to get back to. He works as a cashier at Sprouts. And so we would ask that the court release him, or he could release OR, but he could post the bond if needed today, just be able to modify for him to be able to reside out of state. And I will represent him on the Verde Valley case, so he will have counsel.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Gage, the court is concerned about the nature of the underlying offenses in, what's been alleged in the Verde Valley case. It's difficult for the court to tell, looking at the public access records, which is all that I have access to, whether that court would agree that you did not have adequate notice of the hearing in 2021. I don't know. But what I'm willing to do is give you permission to travel to and reside in Arizona so long as you return by your next court date. And that is Monday, counsel. That's Monday, June 23rd. So I don't know if he has to go back and forth between now and then, but I only have authority between now and the next court date. We will not make ongoing orders for travel in a lower court case because we're only doing this limited hearing for them. So, Mr. Gage, I'm giving you... Okay. All right. And because this is a victim case, and this warrant has been outstanding since 2021, the court is going to set bail in the amount of $500 secured, Mr. Gage. So assuming it sounds like you are able to post that, you comply with your release conditions, which will include don't go to the scene of the alleged crimes, no contact with any alleged victims or witnesses, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol, and I have put in here that you may travel back and forth to Colorado. Are you driving or flying?
Flying, Your Honor.
Okay, then I'll just say just straight to Colorado, return by June 23rd. And if you, obviously, counsel, if you get that hearing continued for him, great. And your lawyer could try to do that. They got a short window, but if she could get their attention and get the court date continued, then just listen to what your lawyer tells you. But right now, I must give you the 23rd at 8:30. So in the absence of an order from the Verde Valley Justice Court, you better be there, or you could lose your bond money and there'll be a warrant issued for your arrest.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, anything else, Ms. Peters?
No, thank you, Judge.
Okay, thanks. And we're going to get that printed up for you, counsel. We will email that to you, and you're welcome to disconnect. Have a great day.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, you can go ahead and step to your left, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thanks. All right, Mr. Chalmers, Aiden Chalmers, and then Maria Martinez, excuse me. Will you go to the chair? Hello, sir. Can I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
Aiden Chalmers, 6/26/2003.
Okay, thanks. You're here on a new case. You got booked in for possession of a weapon by a prohibited person. It is a Class 4 felony. There is probable cause for it, and I am appointing a lawyer for you. Your next court date is going to be a status conference June 23rd at 8:30 in the morning with a preliminary hearing June 26th at 8:30. Those are going to be in the downtown Superior Court, and that address is going to be on your paperwork. And in this case, bond is set at $2,500 secured. I will note the county attorney recommended a $35,000 bail for you, which might surprise you, Mr. Chalmers, but I do think that is generally because they are taking an aggressive stance in these prosecutions. I tell you that, Mr. Chalmers, in order to encourage you to comply with your release conditions. You are presumed innocent in this case, and you have the right to go to trial. That being said, if you are convicted, and if you have that many prior convictions, you are looking at a presumptive sentence of 10 years in prison. So, you need to comply with your conditions. You need to go to court, meet with your lawyer. I did give you a lawyer. You are entitled to defend against this case. But if you post a bond and that is not enough to get you to go to court, you will lose your bond money. There will be a warrant issued for your arrest. And one of the main things we consider when setting bond on warrants is a person's priors. So you should not expect the bond ever to be as low as $2,500 again if you miss a court date, okay? All right, if you step to your left, you get your paperwork. Ms. Chalmers, I'm sorry, you're Mr. Chalmers. Mrs. Martinez. And then Jenny Sampson, will you go to the chair? Any thoughts? After Martinez will be Jenny Sampson. Hello, ma'am. Can I have your full name and date of birth, please?
Irene Martinez. Irene Adriana Martinez, July 5th, 1980.
You don't look like the same lady in my photo. Are you Maria Martinez?
No, Irene.
Oh, okay, wrong Martinez. You can go ahead and have a seat, ma'am. I'm going to call you up in a minute. Sorry. I need Maria Martinez. Okay. Hi, ma'am. Can I have your full name and your date of birth?
Maria Martinez, 12/26/77.
Okay, thanks. You're here on 2 bench warrants. You've been charged in felony cases. I don't know what you may have pleaded guilty to, but I know your original charges, which are in number 18 on the calendar, dangerous drug possession, class 4 felony, drug paraphernalia possession, class 6 felony. In number 19 on the calendar, the charges are narcotic drug possession, class 4 felony, drug paraphernalia possession, a class 6 felony. You failed to appear at your sentencing in both of these cases on February 10th of this year, and there were warrants issued for your arrest. You already have a lawyer in both cases. You're going to have a status conference in front of the sentencing judge June 23rd. That's Monday at 8:30 in the morning. At that status conference, they will give you a new sentencing date. And in each of these 2 cases, I'm going to affirm the bond set by that judge. It is $1,000 cash only. That's $2,000 cash total. With written conditions, if you do bond out, comply with all of those, do not miss your court dates. If you step to your left, you get a copy of your paperwork.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, and Jenny Sampson, if you come forward. After that, Victor Saldana, will you go to the chair, please? Hello, ma'am. Can I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
Jenny Lynn Sampson, April 21st, 1984.
All right, thank you. You are also here on 2 warrants. Looks like you had a sentencing and disposition hearing going on the same date in 2 different cases. The number 24 on the calendar, you've been charged with narcotic drug possession, class 4 felony, and number 25 on the calendar, you are on felony probation. That court date was August, looks like 6th, could be 8th, 2023. It was your sentencing and disposition. You were not there, and warrants issued for your arrest. You already have a lawyer in both cases. You're going to have a status conference in front of the sentencing court this Monday, June 23rd at 8:30 in the morning. That's in the downtown Superior Court. The address is on your paperwork. Your bond in each case is $2,500 secured for $5,000 total. If you bond out, comply with all of your written conditions and do not miss that court date. Also, call your PO within 72 hours. The number is on your paperwork. If you step to your left, he'll give you that. Thank you. Mr. Saldana? And then Trevion Wright, will you please go to the chair? Where's Mr. Saldana? Victor, he's got a red shirt on, officer. He's probably the guy in the back with it over his head. Yeah, that looks like the right color. I can't see his, nobody can see his face. Mr. Wright, if you're ready, Trevion, you can come. And after this is going to be Mr. Wright, officer. All right, Mr. Saldana? Full name and date of birth, please.
Victor Saldana, 7/10/1984.
All right, thanks. You are here on 4 warrants. I believe they're all probation warrants. Let me double check. Yeah, they are. I remember. Okay. You're on felony probation in 4 separate cases. On or about March 5th, there were petitions to revoke filed against you in all 4 cases. Those petitions allege that you violated terms 3 and 5. You'll get copies of them from your lawyer, and I am appointing a lawyer for you. Your next court date is going to be in the downtown probation court. It is June 24th at 8:30 in the morning. That is a revocation arraignment and possible disposition hearing. The court address will be on your paperwork, and I'm just going to affirm the bonds set in each of these 4 cases by the probation judge. In numbers 30 and 31 on the calendar, it is $1,000 secured per case. In numbers 29 and 32 on the calendar, it is I apologize. I got to back up. You're on probation in 3 cases. The 4th case is a new case. So, in numbers 30 and 31, it is $1,000 secured. In number 29 on the calendar, it's $250 secured. In number 32, that is an arrest warrant. You caught a new case. In number 32, you have been charged in a criminal complaint with 1 count of shoplifting as a class 4 felony committed March 3 of 2025. This comes out of the Phoenix Police Department. And you will get a copy of that charge and police reports from your lawyer. I am appointing a lawyer for you in this case. You have 2 court dates in this case. The first one will also be June 23rd at 8:30 in the morning. That's your status conference. We will put that together. No, we can't. Sorry. It's going to be slightly different than the probation cases. They will come together in the system eventually. Mr. Saldana? Okay. You just look like you are actually sleeping. All right. In the new case, June 23rd at 8:30 is your status conference. June 26th at 8:30 is your preliminary hearing. I'm just going to set a $50 placeholder bond in that case to make you eligible for credit. So your total bond is $2,300 secured across the 4 cases with conditions in all of them. If you make bond, be sure to call your PO within 72 hours. He's got your paperwork for everything.
Thank you.
Mr. Wright? Cases like I do. That's because you got to hold it all in your head. And need to start case card top to bottom. And if $50 to $25,000 doesn't matter. Doing this is just such a habit, Jesus. Okay. At the podium, sir. After Mr. Wright will be Davey Honey. Davey? Hi, sir. Can I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
All right, 4904.
Okay, thanks. You're here on a probation warrant. You're on probation for some misdemeanors here in Maricopa County, and there was a petition to revoke your probation filed. That was filed on March 10th. It alleges that you violated terms 3 and 5. You'll get a copy of that petition from your lawyer, and I am appointing a lawyer for you. Your next court date is in the downtown probation court, June 24th, which is 1 week from today, 8:30 in the morning. The address is on your paperwork. That's going to be a revocation arraignment and possible disposition hearing. And your bond is $250 secured with written conditions. that will be on your paperwork. Mostly, if you get out, call your PO within 72 hours of release. Again, your bond is $250. Your court date is in 1 week. If you step to your left, to give you that paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Honey? Then Tyler Bilkowicz, will you please go to the chair? Tyler? All right, Mr. Honey. Yeah, Mr. Honey, can I have your full name and date of birth, please?
David Gukutsi Honey, 7/16/93.
All right, thanks. You're here on 3 warrants from the Winslow Justice Court. They all issued on the same date. And in the first one, number 9 on the calendar, looks like you've been convicted of assault and interfering with judicial proceedings. Those are class 1 misdemeanors. And number 10 on the calendar, you've been convicted those same 2 crimes, but in a different case. Number 11 on the calendar is 2 counts of interfering with judicial proceedings by disobeying a court order. All these warrants issued on the same date, May 19th of this year. And so we're going to give you a court date in the Winslow Justice Court 3 days from now, which is Friday, June 20th, 8:30 in the morning. The address is on your paperwork.
Yes,
Bond is set in each of these cases at $100 secured for $300 total, with written conditions in all of them that I'll let you read for yourself. If you bond out, you need to be up in Winslow on Friday, or you'll lose your bond money, and they'll issue more warrants for your arrest.
All right.
Everything's
So are they gonna come get me?
Yeah, if you don't
All right.
post bond, Navajo County sheriffs are going to have to arrange for your transport from
All right.
Maricopa.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Bilkowicz. And then Michael Adams, will you go to the chair? Hello, sir. Can I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
Tyler Bilkowicz, 3499.
All right, thank you. You are here on 2 probation warrants. You're on probation in 2 different felony cases, and there were petitions to revoke your probation filed on May 30th of this year. They allege that you violated terms 3 and 5. You will get copies of those from your lawyer. I am appointing a lawyer for you. Your next court date is a revocation arraignment and possible disposition hearing in the downtown probation court on June 24th, 8:30 in the morning. That is 1 week from today. Your bond in each of the 2 cases is $250 secured with written conditions. I'll let you read those for yourself. Call your PL within 72 hours if you bond out. The number's on your paperwork. He's got your paperwork for you if you step to your left. I need Michael Adams, please. Hi, sir. Can I have your full name and your date of birth?
Michael Matthew Adams, 4/27/2000.
All right, thanks. You're here on a new case. You were arrested for unlawful use of a means of transportation. It is a Class 5 felony, and there is probable cause for it. I am appointing a lawyer for you. Your next court date is a status conference July 2nd, which is 2 weeks from tomorrow, July 2nd, 8:30 in the morning in the downtown Superior Court, with a preliminary hearing July 7th at 8:30 in the same court. Based on what has been alleged against you, I am willing to release you on your own recognizance with orders not to contact the alleged victim. Do not respond to contact from the alleged victim. Do not go to the scene of the alleged crime, which is, it's not your residence, I believe. So do not go there. That would be the alleged victim's residence. Yeah, so this is, you don't have any felony priors. I'm not showing any violent priors. This, even if you go to trial and lose, this is a probation eligible offense. So you just need to comply with the release conditions. Do not miss your court date. It doesn't mean I don't think there's probable cause for this felony. There is. It just means I think you're likely to come to court and comply with release conditions. As long as you do that, then there shouldn't be any need to change release conditions, okay? It still takes a few hours to get out. Be patient. You should be out later today. If you step to your left, she's going to give you a paperwork. Thank you. All right, Ms. Irene Martinez, got to wake her up now. She's going to be real annoyed. She's sleeping now. She's the one who came in early, Irene Martinez. And then Marcus Lopez, will you go to the chair? Marcus Lopez? Can you wake him up, Ash? Yeah, thanks. Hi, ma'am. Can I have your full name? Oh, no,
Martinez, July 5th, 1980.
Okay, thank you. Ma'am, you're here on a new case. You were arrested for two things. Possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. I did find probable cause for that.
How much is a drug, to be charged for a drug felony, how much do you have to have in possession?
I'm sorry, I got to finish talking, ma'am. I couldn't really make out what you're saying. I'll give you a chance to talk in a second, okay?
Thank you.
They also booked you for possession of narcotic drugs as a Class 4 felony. They allege that you had heroin, but they did not provide, no, I apologize. Just one second. Yes, you are the person. So they alleged it was heroin, but they didn't provide enough support for that allegation.
Really?
So for purposes of this hearing only, I'm not finding probable cause on the heroin allegation. That's the narcotic drug.
And the narcotics also.
I do find probable cause on the drug paraphernalia.
But how much
it's
do you
a Class
have to have?
6. Ma'am, just let me finish,
sorry about
okay?
that. I apologize.
All right, thanks. I am appointing a lawyer for you. I'm giving you 2 court dates. They will be on your paperwork. The first is a status conference, July 2nd. That's 2 weeks from now, 8:30 in the morning. Preliminary hearing, July 7th at 8:30. The address is on your paperwork.
Gotcha.
I am willing to release you in this case, provided you will come to court and comply with your release conditions. Will you do those things?
Yes, I have another question. For a lawyer?
One more second. You do have some city court charges. I don't see city court cases. Did you see a city judge at 10? Ash, is she on for 4?
Just 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, okay. So you still have to see a Phoenix judge. I only have the new arrest from yesterday, the felony case. So you may end up with bond from the Phoenix judge. I don't know. You'll have to find out at 4 o'clock. All right.
Okay.
You have written release conditions in my case. They'll be on your paperwork. Now, what did you want to say?
For drug paraphernalia, how much do you have to have in possession for it to be a drug charge?
How much drug paraphernalia?
Like how much? Like let's just say you have you found a needle full of blood with drugs in it, and they don't find no narcotics or nothing like on you, like nothing.
Yeah, it's up to the county attorney whether they want to go forward on the case and whether they want to do it as a felony or a misdemeanor. I did give you a lawyer, and this is just probable cause. So you're not convicted. Your lawyer will help you. I did release you. So just be sure to come to court, and your lawyer will help you. They'll figure out what you've been accused of, help you look at the charges, and decide the best plan for you.
Okay.
So I've released you. That's about as good of an outcome as you can get today.
Yeah.
Your lawyer can talk to you about whether they think it's a good case, etc. But so just be sure not to miss your court dates, okay?
I won't.
All right, good luck, ma'am. Take your paperwork and be all done. Mr. Lopez? And then Kenneth Stewart, will you go to the chair? I think I have to do it. You don't sit and do it in my app and pay for it.
Well, you can tell me. Okay. Whenever you're done.
Okay, all right, 1 second, sir. We're just going to take a quick break. All righty, and you're Mr. Lopez?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, thanks for your patience. Can I have your full name and date of birth, please?
Marcus Lopez, 120906.
All right, thanks. You're here on a new case. You were arrested for failing to admit, for carrying a concealed weapon under the age of 21. That's a Class 3 misdemeanor. There is probable cause for it. Your arraignment hearing is going to be July 1st at 2 in the afternoon. That is 2 weeks from today in the Buckeye City Court. I'm not appointing a lawyer for you because we don't appoint lawyers in this type of misdemeanor case. What you have is the right to hire a lawyer at your own expense or to represent yourself. So July 1st, 2 p.m., I am releasing you on your own recognizance. I am not aware of any prior criminal or juvenile history. You may have some, but I am not aware of it. So I'm releasing you. Do not possess any weapons while the case is pending. No drugs without a valid prescription. No alcohol, you're under 18. Everything else, I'm sorry, you're under 21. Everything else is on your paperwork. If you'll step to your left, he's got a copy for you. You should be released later today.
Thank you, Judge.
Good luck, sir. Mr. Stewart? And then Angel Acosta, we go to the chair. Hello, sir. Can I have your full name and your date of birth, please?
Kenneth G. Stewart, 12/21/68.
Thank you. You're on a new case. You were arrested on the following allegations. Aggravated, driving under the influence of alcohol while impaired to the slightest degree. That's a Class 4 felony. Extreme DUI with a blood alcohol 0.15 to 0.20. DUI with a blood alcohol of 0.08 or higher. Simple DUI, that is impaired to the slightest degree, and driving on a suspended license. All of those are Class 1 misdemeanors. There is probable cause for all of those, and I am appointing a lawyer for you. Your next court date will be a status conference July 2nd, which is 2 weeks from tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning in the Downtown Superior Court, with a preliminary hearing July 7th at 8:30 in the same court. And on these facts, which do not include a collision or driving behavior beyond the inherent danger of driving while significantly under the influence of substances, I'm going to release you to pretrial services with alcohol testing. You do not have any felony priors for DUI, but there is absolutely probable cause for aggravated DUI. You already, right now, do not have the legal right to drive. And so I have put in two places in your orders in case you are confused. You are prohibited from driving. You may not get behind the wheel of a car. Okay. Do you understand?
Yep.
And pretrial must alcohol test you. You're ordered not to possess or consume any alcohol. So finally, Mr. Stewart, do you already know what the potential minimum sentence is for aggravated DUI as a Class 4 felony?
I got a DUI back at 9/19 of last year.
Was it aggravated?
I couldn't.
I like to, and I'm going to, tell people what the potential minimum sentence they face is, because I believe any intelligent person would take their release conditions considerably more seriously if they knew what it was. So if you are convicted, which you are a long way from being convicted, you are innocent until proven guilty, and I did give you a lawyer. But if the state has the evidence that they say, and you are convicted of aggravated DUI as a Class 4 felony, you're going to do no less than 120 days in the state penitentiary, followed by probation. It is not the county jail. It is an orange jumpsuit at a men's prison. DUI, aggravated DUI, is a special category of offense under Arizona law. It's the only one where there is mandatory prison required before you can be on probation. And if a person is not given pause by the idea of doing a prison sentence, then they are merely foolish. That should give everyone pause.
So
if you're lucky, it'll be the Lewis Prison Complex on the west side of town. If you're not lucky, it'll be Southern Arizona.
Okay. So
you'll do 4 months.
This
mandatory.
This is what's going on in my case currently.
Yes.
Okay,
if you lose a trial, aggravated DUI Class 4, no judge can give you less than 120 days in the state penitentiary. If you were to commit this type of offense while this case is pending, first, we would hold you no bond while the case is pending because you've come in on a new felony while you're out on release for a felony. Then, it is my understanding the county attorney will start their plea bargain for you at 2.5 years in prison. This is far, far more time and far more serious than misdemeanor DUI. Your DUI conviction was extreme DUI. You've come in on an extreme DUI. There is substantial evidence to believe that you are addicted to alcohol.
Yes, I am.
People who are tend to murder other people with their cars. They are dangerous. They are demonstrably dangerous. So I'm releasing you. The reason you're getting the lecture and educational information is because if it makes you incrementally less likely to kill someone with drunk driving while this case is pending, I will have done a public service.
So what's going to happen in my current case? I'm supposed to report back here on, I think it's the 20th, 22nd, 23rd.
You got weekend jail?
Yeah, that's what my judge in Hacienda set me up with.
Okay.
When I get out of that, I have an 11-day bracelet.
Okay.
And then after that, I go through 90 days of treatment.
That shouldn't impede any of this. And just so you know, being in treatment is absolutely not a valid excuse for missing court. Do not miss your court dates in this case.
No.
So just keep track of them. When you're at the treatment facility, tell them, like, all of what you're describing should not run into these orders at all. You can go in and out of the jail, still out of custody in my case, and then you go on the 2nd of July. You'll need to tell pretrial as they're telling you to alcohol test. You can just say, by the way, I got to report into jail. So if you're going to alcohol, they can look it up.
Yeah.
And just be sure that when you're talking to pretrial, we're going to give you an envelope. You call them when you get out. They're going to set up the testing. You can just let them know exactly what you told me so they can have it down that you're going to do a weekend. Then you're going to do an ankle monitor for a while. Is that what you said?
For 11 days.
Is that house arrest?
Yes.
Okay. So what they'll need to coordinate, and that's a justice court. So it's them, meaning luckily it's not a city court. It's a justice court, same probation people. So they should be able to say, okay, we want you to drug test. You have permission to leave your house, or I'm sorry, alcohol test. You're going to leave your house, you're going to go alcohol test, you're going to come home. So it is all the same organization. It should be fine. And just don't miss your court dates.
Okay.
All right, everything's on your paperwork. I did give you a lawyer. You'll meet that person on or about July 2nd.
Okay.
All right, if you step to your left, you get that paperwork.
So am I free to go?
You are under pretrial services release, but that is a form of release. We're releasing you today. You call them after you get out. Let them know everything about your other case so that they can make sure that's all working. Don't miss your court dates.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Acosta, where's Angel Acosta? And then Maher Ismail, Mr. Ismail, I need Acosta is probably the sleeping guy. Yeah, he's the sleeping guy. Hi, Mr. Acosta, can I have your full name and date of birth, please?
Angel David Acosta, 6982.
All right, thank you. You're here on a new case. You were arrested for two things. I found probable cause for one of them. That is obstruction of justice by the refusal to provide a true name. That's a Class 2 misdemeanor. You were also booked in for possessing drug paraphernalia, but for purposes of this hearing only, I did not find probable cause on it because the police didn't provide enough information to support their allegation that what you had was drug paraphernalia. Yeah. It does not mean it's dismissed. It just means I'm not setting release conditions for it. I am appointing a lawyer for you. You can talk to your lawyer more about how that works. I'm giving you two court dates. Status conference, July 2nd at 8:30. Preliminary hearing, July 7th at 8:30. And, hang on.
July 7th.
In this case, I'm going to follow the recommendation to release you to pretrial services supervision. I show that you do have a Phoenix warrant. Did you already see a Phoenix judge? 4 o'clock. Okay. So I released you in my case. You're going to get an envelope for pretrial services. Don't lose it. That's who you need to call after you get out. And I don't know what's going to happen in your Phoenix case. They may give you a bond. You may end up stuck in jail, but you need to keep track of that envelope so you can call them when you get out. Everything else you need to know is going to be on your paperwork, okay?
Thank you,
you step to your left, I'll give you that copy.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Ismail? He's got a bright blue shirt on, officer. Here he comes. Okay. Face and do not do read. Hi, sir. Can I have your full name and date of birth?
Mayor Ismail, December 18th, 1997.
Okay, thanks. You're here on a warrant in a pending criminal case. You've been charged with possessing both narcotic and dangerous drugs, Class 4 felonies. There was a status conference back on April 11th, so about 2 months ago, and you were not there. A warrant was issued for your arrest. You've already had a lawyer appointed. Your next court date is going to be a status conference July 2nd at 8:30 in the downtown Superior Court with a preliminary hearing July 7th at 8:30. That address is going to be on your paperwork. And Mr. Ismail, I saved you for last for a reason. It's because I'm going to give you a do-over. You're the only person who missed a felony court date who's getting a do-over, so I saved you for last. Here's why. You have a felony prior, but it's pretty old. This is your first failure to appear, and you did not try to avoid arrest on this warrant. You surrendered peacefully, and you came. On a drug charge, I'm willing to give you another chance to be out of custody. You may very well be looking at a probation offer in this case. So I don't need to keep you in the jail unless you show that even with a do-over, you won't come. So nobody else is going to give you a third chance. Right now, you appear to be low risk. Like I said, you didn't try to avoid the warrant. You didn't lie about your name. You didn't run from the cops. So you need to go to court, Mr. Ismail. Talk to your lawyer in 2 weeks. It's entirely possible if you show up, you may never do another day in jail on this case, even if you are convicted. So, but if you just won't go to court, we're going to hold you. And if you don't have $500, it's just like being held no bond. So if you want to be out of custody while your case is happening, you must go. All right?
Yes,
Will you
Your
go?
Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. So I'm going to make you report to pretrial services, though. You're going to get an envelope. After you get out, call them. They're just going to have you check in. It is not hard. So don't lose it. Don't dodge it. Just call them and show up, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck, sir. Okay, officer, I have 2 house calls, Mr. Dabney and Mr. Sergio Garcia. Are they not physically present in court because they've been isolated by the sheriff's office as a potential risk to themselves or others?
Yes. Danby, unable to function with other people, and this one's aggressive with staff and officers.
Garcia was aggressive with staff and officers? All right, and Dabney, is he out of it? Is he fighting with other people?
It's just both says assaultive behavior.
Okay.
So
you have a report of assaultive behavior? All right. So the court will go conduct those initial appearances in person, in-house, immediately following this recording. I'll advise Christopher Jared Dabney, born 8/6 of 97, that he's before the court on 3 matters. One's a new case, 2 are probation holds. In the new case, he was arrested for allegations of armed robbery, a Class 2 felony, aggravated assault, a Class 3 felony, first-degree burglary, a Class 3 felony, theft as a Class 3 felony, and third-degree burglary, a Class 4 felony. The offense dates range from April 19th to June 2nd of this year, and the court did find probable cause for all of them. I am appointing a lawyer for Mr. Dabney. I'm setting a status conference June 23rd at 8:30 in the downtown Superior Court, with a preliminary hearing June 26th at 8:30 in the same court. And in this case, the court is setting bail in the amount of $100,000 secured. That is my inclination. And with written release conditions that I will go over with him, including no going to the scenes of any of the alleged crimes, no contact with any victims. Alrighty, then his other 2 cases, numbers 33 and 34, they are probation holds. The probation department will be filing petitions to revoke his probation, which in his case will be supplemental petitions to revoke in each of his felony cases based on this new arrest. So I am appointing a lawyer for him on both of those petitions and giving him court dates in probation court. One court date is June 24th at 8:30 in the morning. And that'll be a revocation, arraignment, and possible disposition hearing in each of those 2 cases. And in each of those 2 cases, yeah, that doesn't print. The court does find that the defendant will, in all reasonable probability, receive a sentence of imprisonment in one or both of those cases. So pursuant to applicable law, he is held without bond in each of his 2 probation cases. I will go over that with him. And in the new case, that's against Sergio Garcia, born 9/8 of 99. I'll advise Mr. Garcia, he got booked in for narcotic drug possession and dangerous drug possession, each a Class 4 felony, plus drug paraphernalia possession, Class 6 felony. I did find probable cause. I am appointing a lawyer for him. His status conference will be July 2nd at 8:30 in the morning in the downtown Superior Court. Preliminary hearing July 7th at 8:30. 1 second. Did you have any contact with Sergio Garcia?
no, that's what the officers told me.
Okay. And so is it hard from their notes? Okay. So right now, I am inclined, I'm hoping, to release Mr. Garcia on his own recognizance. He has no felony priors, and these are drug charges. And assuming I do that, his court dates will be July 2nd and 7th as noted. If, after seeing him, I believe that he is not likely to comply with release conditions or appear for court, then I would set bail in his case in the amount of $500 and give him court dates of June 23rd and June 26th at 8:30. If anything changes after I see either of these defendants in-house to conduct these initial appearances, my final written order will reflect the court's ultimate decision in that case. It is not the court's intention to update this recording. All right, with that, we are going to stand in recess until 2 p.m. this afternoon.
We're ready.
Is it you?
Yeah, you.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Is that everyone? Oh, small. You sure you brought everyone in? Okay, all right.
Wait, we had a couple, house calls.
Okay. All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Commissioner Hughes. This is the 2 p.m. initial appearance calendar for Tuesday, June 17th. The court's orders for the taking of DNA samples and fingerprints issued on the first calendar of June will apply to the hearings on this calendar. As we get started in here on the calendar this afternoon, I will call each of you into the courtroom one at a time. I will ask one of you to stand behind this gray podium here in front of me in the courtroom. I'll ask the next two people that I intend to call into the courtroom to line up in the two chairs right inside this door. So if you would please listen for your name, go from chair 2 to chair 1 into the courtroom. I know that seems a little bit silly, but I promise you it will make this calendar move a lot faster. Once you work your way into the courtroom and you're behind the podium, I will start by asking you to state your full name and date of birth. Then I will explain to you why you're here. I will tell you whether you qualify for a court-appointed lawyer. Those lawyers are sometimes called public defenders. You do have the right to the assistance of counsel in a criminal case. Whether or not you qualify for a public defender, you always have the right to hire a private lawyer to represent you if you wish to. After we talk about lawyers, I'll give you the next court hearing dates and times you'll be required to attend after this court hearing. And the last thing that we'll do while you're in the courtroom is talk about whether you are legally eligible for release from custody. If you are, we will go over on what terms and conditions you could be released. In addition to that right to the assistance of counsel in a criminal case, you all also have the right to remain silent. These are recorded criminal proceedings. That means that anything you choose to say in the courtroom this afternoon, it will be preserved on the recording and it can be used against you at any point down the line in these proceedings. Unless you have already made arrangements with a private lawyer, there will not be a lawyer in the courtroom for purposes of your defense here this afternoon. Because you won't have a lawyer in here and because anything you say could eventually be used against you, I will strongly caution all of you not to make any statements regarding the facts about why you're here. If you have questions, comments, you want to make some statements about the facts of your case, I encourage you to save those statements, questions, for a hearing where you have a lawyer present, so you can discuss that with your lawyer before you make any statements that will be preserved that you then can't take back. Last thing I will tell you all before we get started is that all of the information that you get while you're standing in the courtroom will be contained in a written document. That document is called a release order, and you'll be handed a copy of that when you're done in the courtroom and you step back into the room you're in right now. So please don't feel like you need to memorize the information we're going through in the courtroom, but keep that paperwork with you wherever you go from here. As long as you have that paperwork come tomorrow, next week, you can look back at it and you'll still have all the information you got while you were standing in the courtroom. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Can I please have Willis Lee all the way into the courtroom behind the gray podium? Tyler Blanchard, if I could ask you to please have a seat in this first chair right inside the door. George Rubble, if you would please have a seat in the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please, sir?
Yeah, it's Willis Russell Lee, May 15, 1970.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. You are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. They are both Class 3 felonies, and 1 count of threatening and intimidating. That last one's a Class 1 misdemeanor. Based on the information provided to me by law enforcement, I have found probable cause to support those allegations. I have also determined that you are entitled to a court-appointed lawyer, so I have appointed the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference June 23rd, and then you will have a preliminary hearing June 26th. They will both be at 8:30 in the morning, and they will both be in the Superior Court downtown. I have received and reviewed a written recommendation regarding release conditions from the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. The County Attorney's Office has requested a $50,000 secured appearance bond. That written recommendation indicates that the County Attorney's Office believes, based on the nature of the allegations, that you pose a risk of danger to the community. In addition to that written recommendation, I have also reviewed your criminal history, or maybe I should say lack of criminal history. I do note that you do not have any felony convictions. I don't think that I even saw that you had any other misdemeanor convictions. The only information I saw when I reviewed your criminal history was these pending charges. So I did review and consider all of that information. I am inclined to impose a bond on this case because of the nature of the charges. I am not inclined to impose a $50,000 secured appearance bond. I'm going to order a $25,000 secured appearance bond. Secured appearance means that you can use a bonding company to post that bond if you choose to. If you would like to explore using a bonding company, back in the jail facility, there's a piece of paper posted in various places that has bonding companies and their phone numbers on it. You can find one of those lists, call 1, 2, or all of them, see what their requirements might be. If you post that bond and you are released from custody, you cannot initiate contact with any alleged victims or witnesses of the underlying allegations. You also cannot possess any weapons or consume any alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription if you're released from custody. Do you understand all of those conditions, Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. You can step back and get your paperwork. Tyler Blanchard, if you would please work your way into the courtroom. Mr. Rubble, if you'd shift over to the first chair, please. Then if I could have Carlos Perez Moreno in the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Tyler Blanchard, December 5th, 1988.
Thank you, Mr. Blanchard. You are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 1 count of aggravated assault, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of assault, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and 1 count of disorderly conduct. That one's also a Class 1 misdemeanor. Based on the information provided to me by law enforcement, I have found probable cause to support those allegations. I have determined you're entitled to a court-appointed lawyer, so I've appointed the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference June 23rd and then a preliminary hearing June 26th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On these allegations, you have a $15,000 secured appearance bond. If you post that and you are released from custody, you cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victim of the underlying allegations. You cannot possess any weapons or drugs without a valid prescription. You cannot consume any alcohol if you're released from custody. Whether or not you're released from custody, you are ordered to strictly comply with the terms of any orders of protection, if any have been or are later served upon you. Mr. Blanchard, please note that these orders do mean that you cannot reside at the same location as the alleged victim. If you currently reside at the same location as the alleged victim, if you are released from custody, you will have to find an alternate residence, at least until your first hearing on June 23rd.
Okay.
Do you understand all of those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. You can step back and get your paperwork.
Thank you very much.
George Rubble, if you would please work your way into the courtroom. Devani Cotton, if you'd please work your way to the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please, sir?
George William Rubel, August 20th, 1982.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rubel. I apologize for getting that wrong. Okay, you are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 3 counts of disorderly conduct involving weapons. All 3 of them are Class 6 felonies. I have found probable cause to support those allegations. I have also appointed the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference June 23rd, and then you will have a preliminary hearing June 26th. They'll both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On these allegations, I have imposed a $10,000 secured appearance bond. If you post that bond and you're released from custody, based on written victim impact statements that I received for purposes of this hearing, I will order that you not initiate contact with the alleged victims. My understanding is that the location of these alleged events is across the street from your primary residence. So I'm not telling you you can't go home. But what I am ordering is when you're at home, if you have reason to interact with these alleged victims, if they're walking down the street, if they're coming home while you're coming home, please don't go out of your way to try to make contact with them. Just go about your business without initiating any contact with these alleged victims. Also, if you're released from custody, you cannot possess any weapons. If you are currently in possession of weapons and you're released from custody, you will have to dispossess yourself of those weapons, at least temporarily until your first hearing. You can do that by giving any weapons you might have to a friend, family member. You could also check them in with a law enforcement agency if you're more comfortable with that. You just cannot personally be in possession of them temporarily while this case is pending. Do you understand all of those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rubel. You can step back and get your paperwork. Carlos Perez Moreno, if you would please work your way into the courtroom. Tatiana Sturm, if you'd work your way to the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Carlos Alberto Perez Moreno, November 21st, 1983.
Thank you, Mr. Perez Moreno. You are here on 2 probation violation warrants. In both cases, petitions to revoke your probation allege that you have violated terms 3, 4, 5, 7, and 15. I've appointed a public defender to represent you in both cases. Your next court hearing will be a revocation arraignment June 24th. It will be at 8:30 in the morning in the probation court downtown. On those 2 warrants, you have a total secured appearance bond of $350. It's $250 on one of the warrants, $100 on the second warrant. If you post that bond and you are released from custody, you cannot possess any weapons or drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions? Okay.
$350 for
$350 total for both warrants. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mr. Perez Moreno. You can step back and get your paperwork. Devani Cotton, if you would please work your way into the courtroom. Goy Rouch, if you'd please work your way to the second chair. If you cannot, that's fine. If you don't have.
It's okay. I got 1 foot to work with.
Okay, we'll try and go fast. If you become uncomfortable, please feel free to have a seat.
Okay.
Okay, can I have your name and date of birth?
Devani Cotton, 11/25/95.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cotton. You are here on an allegation of a new charge. The allegation against you is 1 count of unlawful flight from a law enforcement vehicle. It is a Class 5 felony. I did find probable cause to support that allegation, and I have appointed a public defender to represent you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference July 2nd, and then you will have a preliminary hearing July 7th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. Mr. Cotton, I am inclined to release you to the supervision of pretrial services. That means you would be released from custody without having to post a bond. You would then be responsible for getting yourself to both of your next court hearings. You would also be responsible upon release from making contact with pretrial services. You would get a packet with your release paperwork that has all of their contact information in it. In addition to attending your court hearings and contacting pretrial upon release, you would also be prohibited from possessing any drugs without a valid prescription and from operating a motor vehicle if you don't have a valid driver's license. Do you understand all of those conditions, Mr. Cotton, and agree that you will abide by them?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. You can go ahead and work your way back to your left, and he will give you your paperwork.
Thank you.
Okay, Tatiana Sturm, if you would please work your way into the courtroom. Michael Garcia, if you'd work your way to the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Tatiana Sturm, 9/16/93.
Thank you very much. You are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 11 counts of computer tampering, all Class 3 felonies, 15 counts of taking the identity of another, all Class 4 felonies, 1 count of theft, a Class 5 felony, 1 count of fraudulent use of a credit card, also a Class 5 felony, and 1 count of theft as a Class 1 misdemeanor. I have found probable cause to support those allegations, and I have appointed the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference July 2nd and then a preliminary hearing July 7th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. I am inclined to release you to the supervision of pretrial services. That means you would be released from custody. You would not need to post a bond. Once you were released from custody, you would be responsible for getting yourself to both of your next court hearings. You will also be required to contact pretrial services. Their contact information will be in a packet you get with your paperwork. Also, once you are out of custody, you cannot initiate contact with any alleged victims of any of the underlying offenses, and you cannot possess any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand all of those conditions and agree that you will abide by them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sturm. You can step back and get your paperwork. Goy Rauch, if you would please work your way into the courtroom. Janet Roman?
Roush made it to an ICEMAN.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I had 2 last minute.
Okay. Will you mark and drop him, please? Thanks. Okay, Michael Garcia, then, if you would please work your way into the courtroom. Janet Roman, if you would work your way to the first chair inside the door. Christy Roth, if you'd have a seat in the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please, sir?
Michael Christopher Garcia, 11/8/90.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. You are here on an allegation of a new charge. The allegation against you is 1 count of narcotic drug possession. It is a Class 4 felony. I have found probable cause to support that allegation, and I've appointed a public defender to represent you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference July 2nd and then a preliminary hearing July 7th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On this allegation, I am releasing you on your own recognizance, so you will be released from custody so long as you promise that you will voluntarily attend both of your next court hearings. Can you make me that promise?
Absolutely.
Okay, then I will release you once you're out of custody. You cannot possess any drugs without a valid prescription. Okay, any questions for me, Mr. Garcia?
This is a bad request, but is it possible for any of those court dates to be on Mondays?
I don't have control over the court dates. So the court dates are set by the system. I don't know what date. One of them, I think, is.
Okay. 'Cause I'm off Sunday, Monday, so that just makes things easier.
So the 7th, the one that is July 7th is a Monday, but the 2nd is a Wednesday. What you can do is, in your release paperwork, you have the phone number to the Public Defender's Office. You could try to give them a call, see if you can get in touch with whoever the actual public defender that will represent you is. Let that public defender know what your preference is for hearings, and then that lawyer might be able to work it out with the court to get your hearing dates switched. I don't know for sure. I don't know exactly how the courts downtown operate. They may not offer those types of hearings on a Monday. Monday, but if they do, your lawyer can work with that judge to try and get that switched out.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead and sit back and get your paperwork. Okay, Janet Roman, if you would please work your way into the courtroom. Edwin Ortiz, if you'd please work your way to the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Janet Roman, 7/14/84.
Thank you, Ms. Roman. You are here on a failure to appear warrant issued by the Youngtown Municipal Court. It looks like that warrant was issued after you failed to appear at a hearing in a misdemeanor case involving disorderly conduct allegations. I am not making any orders regarding your entitlement to counsel in this case. If you are entitled to a court-appointed lawyer, either the Youngtown court has already given you one or they will at your next court hearing. Your next hearing on this warrant will be an arraignment hearing June 24th. It will be at 9 o'clock in the morning in the Youngtown Municipal Court. I am going to release you on your own recognizance out of this court. That means you will get out of custody without having to post a bond, but you will be responsible for getting yourself to the Youngtown court on June 24th at 9 o'clock in the morning. If you don't go to that court for that hearing, that court's going to issue a new warrant for your arrest, and you're just going to have to keep coming back here and doing this until you make your way out to that court. So you're going to get out of custody. Make sure you get yourself to Youngtown on June 24th at 9 o'clock. You'll have that date, time, address, and phone number for that court in your paperwork. Once you're out of custody, don't have any contact with the alleged victim or any witnesses of that disorderly conduct allegation if you know who they are. And you can't possess any weapons or drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand all of those conditions?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Roman. You can step back and get your paperwork.
Okay.
Christy Ross, if you would please work your way into the courtroom. Eduardo Torres, if you'd please work your way to the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Christy Ross, November 7th, 1986.
Thank you, Ms. Ross. You are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 1 count of dangerous drug possession, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony, and 2 counts of shoplifting, both Class 1 misdemeanors. I did find probable cause to support those allegations, and I've appointed the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference July 2nd and then a preliminary hearing July 7th. They'll both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. I am releasing you on your own recognizance on these allegations, so you will be released from custody. You will then be responsible for getting yourself to both of your next court hearings.
And did you say...
Go ahead.
Municipal court, so is it at...
It's Superior Court.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be downtown. The address is 175 West Madison. We call it the South Court Tower. So it'll be downtown in the Superior Court. Once you're out of custody, you cannot go back to the location where the alleged shoplifting took place, and you can't possess any drugs without a valid prescription.
Okay.
Okay, do you understand those conditions, Ms. Ross?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. You can sit back and get your paperwork. Edwin Ortiz, if you would please work your way into the courtroom. Fernando Delgado, if you'd please work your way to the second chair. May I please have your name and date of birth?
It's Edwin Ortiz, April 1st, 2002.
Thank you very much. You are here on 2 different matters. The first matter that you're here on is a failure to appear warrant issued by the Peoria Municipal Court. That's on a misdemeanor drug paraphernalia possession allegation. Because the underlying allegation in that Peoria case is a misdemeanor, the nature of that charge does not entitle you to a court-appointed lawyer. That means if you want to have a lawyer representing you in that misdemeanor case, but you don't already have one, you will have to hire a lawyer at your own expense. Your next court hearing on that misdemeanor warrant will be an arraignment hearing July 3rd. It will be at 9 o'clock in the morning in the Peoria Municipal Court. The second matter that you're here on is a felony probation violation warrant. In that case, a petition to revoke your probation alleges that you have violated terms 3, 4, 5, and 7. I've appointed the Public Defender's Office to represent you in that probation case. Your next court hearing will be a revocation arraignment. That one will be on June 24th at 8:30. That one's going to be in the Superior Court downtown. On both of these matters, I am releasing you on your own recognizance. That means you will be released from custody. It's then going to be your responsibility to get yourself to the Superior Court on June 24th, and then to get yourself to the Peoria Court on July 3rd. Once you are out of custody, you are ordered not to possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions and agree that you will abide by them?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. You can step back and get your
I
paperwork.
do have a question. So
Sure.
for the violations, what were they?
3, 4, 5, and 7. So 3 and 5, let me see if I can tell you. 3 and 5 typically have to do with reporting to adult probation.
Okay.
So term 3 is reporting on an established schedule. Term 5 has to do with where you're residing. So the allegations are that you were not reporting to adult probation as required under term 3, and that you were either residing at a location that was not approved, not residing at an approved location, or didn't get approval to change residences. That's the term 5 violation.
Okay.
Term 4, it looks like is substance abuse treatment. So the allegation is that you either failed to enroll in or complete or comply with substance abuse treatment. Term 7 is drug testing. So you either didn't report for drug testing or failed drug tests. I don't know exactly what the requirement was, but term 7 has to do with testing.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. You can step back and get your paperwork. Eduardo Torres, if you would please work your way into the courtroom. Shannon Drum, if you'd please work your way to the second chair.
There's nobody else out there.
You're killing me, Smalls.
No.
Okay, can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Eduardo Cesar Torres, November 28th, 1995.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. You are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 1 count of aggressive driving, that one's a class 1 misdemeanor, 1 count of reckless driving, a class 2 misdemeanor, and 1 count of criminal speeding, a class 3 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause to support those allegations. Because the nature of those allegations are all misdemeanors, none of them entitle you to a court-appointed lawyer. What that means is if you want to have a lawyer represent you against these allegations, you will have to hire one at your own expense. Your next court hearing will be an arraignment hearing July 3rd. It will be at 9 o'clock in the morning in the Peoria Municipal Court. I am releasing you on your own recognizance, so you will be released from custody. You don't need to post a bond to secure your release. But once you're out of custody, you will be responsible for getting yourself to that next court hearing. In your paperwork, you're going to have the date, time, address, and phone number for that court. If that date poses any problems or if you need directions, use that paperwork to get in contact with the court. Once you're out of custody, you cannot operate a motor vehicle if you don't have a valid driver's license. Okay to operate one if you do. If you do have a valid driver's license and you operate a motor vehicle, you must comply with all rules of the road, including posted speed limits. Do you understand all of those conditions?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Torres. You can step back and get your paper.
Can I ask a question? The car got impounded. There's no, I have to pay to get it out, right? Like there's nothing.
I don't know. I don't know. So it's Peoria PD that arrested you.
Yeah.
I don't know what their requirements are for getting your car back from them. If for some reason they're holding it as evidence, they may not release it to you until their investigation is over. If it was just impounded because you were being arrested and they had to do something with it, they will probably release it to you. But what you'll want to do is contact Peoria PD for that.
I gotta call them. I don't call the towing companies that took it. The Western Towing took it.
There's probably going to be a paper in your release property.
All right.
That I'm wrong.
There you go.
I was just seeing if I can, because I know towing costs, seeing if I can get like a, I don't know, like a party on there or something to not pay.
You'll find out more in release. Yeah, I think
Okay, thank you.
Just the court first.
Okay. Give me some info on these people. What?
So, Goy refused mugshots and unable to function in GP. Drum was refusing orders and ID. Number 9. Delgado was unable to function in GP and refusing orders. And Benjamin, I just kicked him out because he was refusing to get up for fingerprints and refusing to get up for court.
So almost all of them just were refusing orders.
Yeah, they're just not listening.
Okay.
And they're all kind of in the same cell actually too.
Oh, nice. Thanks for making it easy. Okay. Let's start with Benjamin. Number 17 on the calendar, J.D. Benjamin, date of birth 11/28/95, is not in the courtroom because he was unable to function in general population and refusing orders. He is here on 3 different matters. The first 2 are probation violation warrants. In both cases, petitions to revoke his probation allege violations of term 3. I've given him a lawyer in both probation cases. His next court hearing in those two matters will be an arraignment hearing June 24th at 8:30. On the two probation warrants, he has a total secured appearance bond of $400. He's also here on a warrant issued by the Peoria Municipal Court on a misdemeanor interfering with judicial proceedings allegation. He's entitled to a court-appointed lawyer in that case to the extent he doesn't already have one for purposes of release conditions. That lawyer will be appointed at his next court hearing, which will be an arraignment hearing June 19th at 9 o'clock in the Peoria Municipal Court. On that warrant, he has a $50 secured appearance bond. That means his total bond will be $450, all secured appearance. Number 20 on the calendar, Fernando Delgado, date of birth 9/3/91, is not in the courtroom because he was also refusing orders. He's here on two different matters. The first is a warrant issued by the Hacienda Justice Court in a misdemeanor criminal damage case. The second is a warrant issued by the Surprise Municipal Court in a criminal trespassing case. He's not entitled to a court-appointed lawyer in either case. His next court hearing on the Hacienda warrant will be an arraignment hearing July 2nd at 9 o'clock in the morning. His next hearing on the Surprise warrant will be an arraignment hearing July 15th at 1:30 in the afternoon. On both of these matters, I am releasing him on his own recognizance. Number 1 on the calendar, Goy Rausch, date of birth 6/17/2006, is not in the courtroom because he was unable to function in general population and refusing orders. He is here on allegations of new charges. Those allegations are 1 count of criminal littering and 1 count of being in possession of liquor under the age of 21. They're both class 2 misdemeanors. I did find probable cause to support those allegations because they are misdemeanors. He's not entitled to a court-appointed lawyer. His next court hearing will be an arraignment hearing July 2nd at 1 o'clock in the afternoon in the Goodyear Municipal Court, and he will be released on his own recognizance. Last on the calendar, Shannon Drum, date of birth 10/22/72, is not in the courtroom because she was unable to function in general population and refusing orders. She's here on two different matters. The first is an arrest warrant issued after a direct complaint was filed. The allegations in that direct complaint are 1 count of dangerous drug possession, 1 count of narcotic drug possession, both class 4 felonies, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a class 6 felony. I appointed a lawyer to represent her in that case. Her next court hearings will be a status conference July 2nd and a preliminary hearing July 7th, both at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On the arrest warrant, I am releasing her on her own recognizance. The second matter she's here on is allegations of new charges based on a new arrest. Those allegations are 1 count of dangerous drug possession, a class 4 felony, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a class 6 felony. I did not find probable cause to support those two allegations. I did appoint a lawyer to represent her in case charges are filed. I will also inform her that she must attend court hearings on those new allegations in the event charges are filed. Those hearings will be the same as her hearings on the direct complaint. It'll be a status conference July 2nd and a preliminary hearing July 7th. No additional release conditions on the new charge, so she will be released on both matters. If anything changes after I visit any of these individuals outside the court, final orders regarding their release conditions will be reflected in their written release orders. That concludes the 2 p.m. initial appearance calendar. This court will stand in recess until 5 p.m.